What if we got Trump to say, I like to move it to the troops for motivation? You think the problem right now is that our troops, we don't have ground troops in Iran, don't have motivation? You think if it was just a little more motivated, we'd easily clean up the Strait of Hormuz and win this war, no problem? There is no winning. Like I'm not even using the right framing. They keep saying we're winning militarily. Yeah, we are winning militarily, but it doesn't mean anything. There's 90 million people in the country. Dude, I read this great piece. This piece from FT. Iranians rethink the price of regime change, which is generally that, like, okay, you know, the history of bombing campaigns' effectiveness in regime change is zero. It's zero. 0% effective. It's never worked one time just using air superiority to regime change. It's never worked. What it's showing is that there are large amounts of Iranians who were happy to see the Ayatollah out and were hopeful for change, who are hardening against Israel, the US, outside influence. They're already skeptical, but now hardening because there's targets being bombed all over their country. There's fucking ash in the air. It's not helping. It's not changing. Of course that doesn't work, bro. How is it that Venezuela saw clean, bloodless regime change, but not here? I think this person doesn't even know that Venezuela didn't have regime change. Like, I think they were hopeful that there would be, you know, the leader out, some change, but like, it's just, and many, even those who loathe the Islamic Republic, appear to have recoiled at the destruction and comments, including Trump's threat to target electricity production facilities if the regime escalated. There's just no way. If you're trying to get support from regular people in the country, this is like one of the worst ways to do it. And then, here, a sociologist in Tehran who is critical of the regime said there was anecdotal evidence of a growing sense of nationalism emerging from the war, which is, of course, like, it focuses people around this outside threat of dropping bombs and not at the real problem of the government's inability to deliver increased quality of life. It is a horrible government. It's socially restrictive and economically corrupt, but they're gonna seem like heroes if you're bombing all over the country. So anyway, I just think the fear of Iran's destruction is increasingly uniting people as they fear the consequences of a large-scale conflict. So I just think this is so foolish, man. I think this Iran war is, I think this was a tweet or something, but it was like, we might end up looking back and thinking the Iran war makes the Iraq war look good. Like, looks well planned. We'll see. It's early to say. But I just think it's so bad. Should we buy oil futures? Well, I'm not, you shouldn't buy any futures. You should not be getting involved in fucking futures trading. But I would say I'm of the bet that they will not be able to tamp down. They're doing every lever they can to keep oil prices down as this crisis spirals. And I think this is the thing that kind of breaks it. I think 20% of the world's global oil supply being under lock and key in Hormuz, oil refineries being blown up, oil storage being blown up. It's just, you can't actually hide that. You can't mask it by doing some strategic petroleum reserve releases. I think oil prices are going to go up. They went down a bit because the panic was over, but it's a fucking volatile grind up until they solve this problem, which means real economic pain, you know, real 70s style stagflation problems. Do you ever regret your vote in 24 after seeing the havoc Trump has caused? I guess I regret driving around to all the swing states and stuffing the ballot boxes for Trump. Like, maybe I shouldn't have gone that far. Yeah, I think to not fill the oil reserves before attacking it will go down as one of the dumbest strategic blunders of a blunder-filled administration. I think it's we could have done it. We've spent money on way stupider shit. We spent more money than Avengers on Kristi Noem's fucking Homeland Security ads. We spent hundreds of millions of dollars. It wasn't Avengers, actually. It was more than Sinners. We couldn't throw a fucking couple billion at oil. They're still blaming Biden for the reserves not being full. Biden did drain it down. That they're not lying about that. The problem is that all through the fucking election, the lead up to the election, Trump was like, Biden drained it down. I'm going to fill it up to the tippity top. And then he said it in his inauguration speech. I'm going to fill it up. And then he didn't do it. and when we had a year of the cheapest oil's been in a generation, I mean, before Iran, it was so cheap. It was the best time to buy. China was buying hand over fist. Maybe this makes me bad for this, but I kind of want the oil prices to go crazy high. We need to feel pain for doing stupid and horrible things. We learn not to do it again. This is like the remnants of the Iran Revolutionary Guard's military strategy right now. You're describing it one-to-one. That is their strategy. They literally have people tweeting. They have people tweeting at Americans, your gas prices are going up. You should, that's their strategy, but it's going to work. If people don't understand, you can't beat geography, especially with just by the air. You can't beat the fact without regime change, The regime will always control this. It's right here. It's very small. They will always control it. And this is so important. So they can always have your fucking balls in a vice. There's nothing you can do about it. What if there is a pipeline actually. Saudi Arabia has a pipeline, but it's not even close to be able to ingest the amount of oil that needs to transport. Just make a canal. Dude, imagine the new line. Trump tries to build a line. He literally tries to dig a canal from the Persian Gulf. Just throw a $70 trillion at it. We should get Elon Musk to dig a tunnel. That's a good idea. By the way, just one more thing. Your question was kind of silly and I went off a silly direction, but if you are praying for the oil price to get high to punish, I guess, American citizens for Donald Trump's actions, just understand that while this will of course hurt America, it hurts almost every other country on earth more, which is just a fucked up thing to do from Trump's side, which is pissing off all the allies. But literally, the oil price shock is hitting Europe except for Russia. It's hitting Europe really bad. It's hitting India. It's hitting China. It's hitting Japan. It's hitting all of Asia. Like everyone's pissed because this oil price shock is so severe. Russia's eating good. I guess Venezuela is going to have a surge of money from this. All the petrostates that can still export are going to have a fucking field day. America is less dependent on oil imports. Yeah, absolutely. The problem is that whether or not you import doesn't matter in a global connected oil market. It matters if there's a war and like everything's supply lines are shut down, but in a global oil market, which we have, the price of oil still goes up because people that need oil buy it and the price goes up. So everyone gets higher prices. But yeah, Australian, Canadian, everywhere's having higher prices from this. It's a fifth of the world's oil, bro. It's an astronomical shock. The only thing that Trump reacts to is the market. I feel like this is the only thing that'll get him to stop. Yeah, he wants to stop. Here's the problem is he can't. Here's the dilemma, strategic dilemma. Let's break it down, dude. The strategic dilemma is this. You can't change the regime without boots on the ground. Boots on the ground is a political loss. So you can't get a regime change. So if the regime can't change, the only thing that happens, maybe people will rise up. It hasn't happened yet, but I guess people could rise up. But if you can't change the regime, then they will always control, at least for the foreseeable future, Iran. If they always control Iran, they can always block Hormuz. If they can do that, the markets will always be fucked. Do you understand how you can blow up their missiles, you can blow up their navy, you can destroy everything, and the second you leave all that stuff, Russia and China come in and help you rebuild it. You can blow up their nuclear and they just go full speed on the same thing. Like you have not solved the problem, you've maybe delayed it. So the only way to keep this open, if you're gonna like navigate through it, is to be there forever. So that's why Trump is realizing he's created a forever war that he can't easily tackle out of. He's created a spiraling problem. If he tries to walk away now, there's still the same regime. They're still angry. They can still block Hormuz as long as they want until they get concessions or whatever they want. And if you're like, we will have an unconditional surrender from them, it's just, you've created a forever war that no matter what, the second you leave and pull away, Russia, China come in, they get oil exports for themselves and they rebuild the missile capabilities. What was the plan? And you realize so quickly there is no plan. Or the plan was they thought it would be Venezuela simple. And it's not. There's a reason that even our most crazy, bloodthirsty Middle East leaders, like George Bush didn't go to Iran, bro. It's always been an obviously stupid plan. And this is the problem. Like people have to understand that the Strait of Hormuz gives them a strategic leverage that is like crazy. And this is even worse now because of drones. Drones are $10,000. They're cheap as fuck. You can you can weld together a drone launcher anywhere in the mountainside and take out a boat. And if even one boat gets taken out, nobody will sail. And that's the problem. That's why this has become such a fucking clustercluck. Anyway, I'm not trying to harp on it, bro. Honestly, I could talk about Iran forever and I don't want to. I'm over it. I'm like Trump. I'm over it. Let's move on. It's terrible. It's really it's so dumb. It's like Trump does a lot of dumb things, but a lot of dumb things are fixable. I sincerely believe that. I'm obviously mad about what he's doing in my country, but I sincerely believe that it's making people angry enough to demand change. And I think we can, America has so many natural gifts. There's many great people in America. I love my country. I truly think we can fix things. But this is really stupid. This is like a generationally stupid thing what he's doing in Iran. So anyway, it makes me angry. And it makes me angrier than most things. And I don't like to talk about it as much. If you watch Predictive History, I talked about it on LS. I'm not a huge fan, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I know he's the flavor of the moment. I'm not a huge fan. He said some generationally dumb things. He mixes it in. He had a nice call on Iran, but he said something like he said some shit like the USA and China will both lose and the rising powers of Germany and Japan will rule. Like, I'm like, bro, that's ludicrous. There's nothing. So I don't know. I'm sure I'm not like all in or all out. I think he's got some thoughts. It'd be interesting to talk to him, honestly. But I'm not like, this guy's a fucking psychic. Are the damaged international relations harder to fix or the Iran stuff? I legitimately think the Iran stuff is one of the worst things we're doing for international relations. Everyone around the world is getting higher gas prices. They're getting this crazy shock, and they know why it happened. People in Australia that are paying higher gas prices are mad at this Iran war. Nobody else wants it. People are mad about it. I think it's one of the worst things we've done. I think it's so bad. I literally think it's just hard to fix in a deep structural way. So I'm upset about that. I mean, listen, I want to say something that's going to sound crazy, but it's true. Within the lifetime of Joe Biden, America went from dropping 2 nuclear bombs on Japan, being in a deep, bloody conflict with them, to being their closest ally in the world. People in Japan have a high rating of America. America have a high rating of Japan, and they are closest allies. Like, it's not crazy. Things can change quickly. Things can happen, okay? So I'm not saying that international relations can't be repaired. I think they actually can be repaired. I think it's actually, there's a lot of aligned interests that can get it alongside. But I think the problems from this can spiral beyond easy fixes. So you're saying it's Biden's fault? No, I'm just saying, in his lifetime. So you're saying we can repair our international connections if we start nuking countries? That wasn't the point of that story. The point I was saying is that you would imagine, if you were in 1945, you'd be like, wow, Japan and America will never get along for all of our life. Like, the line has now been crossed and they will never be allies. And then the cereal gets spit out, and then you flash forward and they're deeply economically tied, deep ally. Like, things can change quickly. There's countries that have been deeply at odds that are now deeply intertwined. And again, you know, people might have said Germany after World War II that country is destroyed. It's split into 2. And then you flash forward, not even 20, 30 years, it's the biggest economy in Europe. And you know what I'm saying? Like, things change quickly and it's deeply intertwined. And it's like, you know, all that shit is, things change is all I'm saying. Things change. Nothing that we think is guaranteed has to be. The US and China could be close allies. It's possible. It's just leadership. It's the right leadership. It's the right movement. Like, political things are a choice, bro. It's the choice. We could have allies. We could have, all this stuff is possible, is all I'm saying. There's nothing that says things have to be enemies. Do you think it's all possible the other Gulf states could get involved and invade Iran if it doesn't let up? I mean, the Gulf states are obviously bad because Iran is striking them fairly indiscriminately. I know people will say like it's all military targets, but it's not really. Iran is just shooting around at all the other Gulf states. You know, they're near military bases, but they're hitting some civilian targets. And the GCC, the Gulf Cooperation Council, is pissed off at it. But I don't think they're going to do anything. They're not going to risk their own. They're not going to send troops in. And no, they just want it to be over. They want US to leave. They want to get a negotiation going. They want to stop because, you know, missiles hitting Dubai, for example, is bad for tourism. It's bad for, Dubai was getting a lot of growth. It was building a banking industry. They just want to sell shit. They want to make money. They want to, anyway, enough about this, guys. We rambled. I ranted, I raved, and I got it all out.